The Friendship Between Lin and the Wild Wolf Part 1. The Lonely Girl. Setting: a small village deep in the mountains, surrounded by a dense forest. The village has a long tradition with people living mainly on farming and hunting. In a corner of the village, in a simple house, 11-year-old Lin lives with her parents and younger brother. Although living in a warm family, Lin always feels lonely. She doesn't have many friends because of her shy personality and likes to be alone. Lin often spends time alone in the forest, watching nature and listening to stories about the natural world that her parents told her since she was little. She loves the forest and feels that it is the only place where she can freely express her feelings and thoughts. Part 2. The first encounter. One cold winter morning, when Lin was walking deep into the forest, she accidentally discovered an injured wolf cub lying under a bush. The wolf, with its smooth gray-white fur, was shivering with cold and pain. Lin felt her heart pounding with sympathy. Although there were rumors in the village about the danger of wolves, Lin could not abandon this little wolf. She gently approached and petted the wolf, carrying it home without telling anyone. Lin hid the wolf in a small wooden cage behind the house, where she cared for it every day by feeding it and bandaging its wounds. Lin named the wolf Shock. Day by day, Shock gradually recovered and became close to Lin. Their friendship developed naturally. Whenever Lin felt sad or worried, Shock would come to her side, rubbing his head against her leg, his eyes shining with understanding. Lin began taking Shock into the woods every day, where they explored nature together, running along the trails and enjoying the fresh air. Lin kept Shock's existence a secret, however, fearing that if the villagers found out, they would kill him because of their fear of wolves. However, their friendship grew deeper, and Shock became Lin's only close friend, helping her feel less alone. Part 4. Danger from the village. One spring day, while Lin and Shock were playing in the woods, a group of hunters from the village discovered Shock's trail. They immediately reported it to the village, and the whole village fell into chaos. The adults in the village remembered stories of dangerous wolves that had attacked livestock and even humans. They decided to organize a big hunt to eliminate this threat. Lin overheard the discussion of the village elders and felt her heart break. She couldn't lose Shock, her only friend. Lin rushed into the forest, trying to find a way to take Shock away from the village. In a panic, Lin led Shock far away, to places where she thought the villagers would never find him. Part 5. Life in the deep forest. Lin and Shock started a new life in a deserted area of the forest, far from the village. At first, everything was extremely difficult. Lin was not used to living alone in the forest, lacking food, water and safety. But thanks to Shock's support, they gradually adapted to their new life. Shock, with the instincts of a wild animal, helped Lin find food and protected her from the dangers of other animals. During the long cold nights, Lin lay next to Shock, feeling the warmth and safety of her friend. She understood that she had made the right choice when deciding to protect Shock, and their friendship became the greatest source of motivation for her to continue living and fighting in the forest. Part 6. The truth comes to light. Meanwhile, in the village, the hunt was fruitless. The hunters did not find any trace of the wolf. The villagers began to suspect that there was a dangerous wild wolf in the forest. Lin's parents, worried about their daughter's disappearance, led villagers into the forest to search for her. One day, they discovered Lin and Shock in a cave deep in the forest. Lin's parents and the villagers were shocked to see her living with a wolf. But when they saw how Shock protected Lin and the affection between the two, they began to understand that not all wolves were dangerous. The friendship between Lin and Shock was proof of that. Part 7. Undying friendship. The villagers gradually accepted Shock as a part of the village. They decided to stop hunting Shock and let Lin continue to take care of the wolf. As time passed, Shock became an important part of the community, helping to protect the village from real dangers from nature and other hunters. Lin no longer felt alone. She now had a special friend, a friendship that helped her overcome her loneliness and fear. The story of Lin and Shock became a village legend, demonstrating the power of love and kindness, overcoming all prejudice and fear. Part 8. Peaceful days. After Squirrel was accepted by the villagers, Lin and the wolf's life gradually became more peaceful. Lin continued to take care of Squirrel, but no longer needed to run away or be afraid. They often went for walks in the forest, where Squirrel now became Lin's loyal companion. Together, they explored the hidden corners of the forest, places that only they knew. The village also began to change. The villagers, who were previously afraid and alienated from nature, now learned to respect and protect the environment around them. They understood that the jungle and wild animals were not enemies, but an important part of life. Through Lynn and Squirrel's story, they realized that harmony with nature not only helps protect the environment but also brings peace to themselves. Part 9. Lynn's growth. Lynn became more and more mature through her experiences. From a shy and lonely girl, she has become a strong, confident person with a deep understanding of nature. Lynn realizes that life is not just about surviving but also about learning to love and protect the precious things around you. Lynn begins to share her and Shock's stories with the children in the village, teaching them about the love of nature and the importance of living in harmony with the environment. The children listen to Lynn's stories with admiration and desire to explore the natural world like her. Lynn becomes an inspiration in the village, helping people see the beauty and magic of nature. Part 10. A special day. One day, Lynn and Shock are invited to attend the village spring festival. This is the first time Shock appears before the whole village since he was rescued. The villagers prepared a special ceremony to honor the friendship between Lynn and Shock, as well as to celebrate the harmony between humans and nature. During the ceremony, Lynn spoke about her friendship with Shock, the hardships they had gone through, and how love helped them overcome it all. Lynn also emphasized the importance of protecting nature and how nature, if loved and respected, would respond with peace and prosperity. The villagers then decided not to expand their hunting activities and instead focused on conserving the forest and animals. They understood, through the story of Lynn and Shock, that the relationship between humans and nature should be built on respect and kindness. Part 11. Goodbye Tommy. Best friend. As time passed, Lynn and Shock became closer. However, the time came for Shock to return to his true nature. Lynn knew that Shock needed to return to the wild, where he belonged. She was heartbroken but understood that true love is when you let the person you love be free. One morning, Lynn led Shock deep into the forest, where they had first met. Lynn bent down, hugged Shock tightly one last time, tears rolling down her cheek. Shock rubbed his head against Lynn as if he wanted to say goodbye. Then, Shock slowly backed away, looked at Lynn one more time, then turned away, blending into the shadows of the deep forest trees. Lynn stood there, watching Shock's figure until it completely disappeared. The little girl knew that Shock would always be a part of her heart, and even though they were no longer together, their friendship would never fade. Part 12. Legacy of friendship. After Shock left, Lynn continued her life with a stronger and more mature soul. She continued to participate in the village's environmental protection activities, becoming a leader in the nature conservation movement. The villagers always remembered the story of Lynn and Shock as a symbol of kindness and harmony between humans and nature. Lynn no longer felt lonely, because she knew that friendship not only exists in the present but also lives forever in our memories and hearts. She still often went into the forest, where she and Shock had shared so many memories, feeling the presence of her dear friend through the gentle breeze and the rustling of leaves. Part 13. The message spreads. The story of Lynn and Shock did not stop in the small village. As the villagers began to realize the value of friendship and a harmonious relationship with nature, they began to tell this story to neighboring villages. The story gradually spread, and the surrounding villages also began to change their views on hunting and the way they treated nature. Village leaders organized seminars to share experiences in nature conservation, learning how to live in harmony with the environment and wild animals. Lynn became one of the leaders of these activities, passing on what she had learned from her friendship with Shock. She encouraged people to protect their precious forests, preserve water sources, and create a safe living environment for animals. Lynn also encouraged the children in the village to learn about nature, not only from books but also through real-life experiences. She led them into the forest, showing them how to recognize plants, animal tracks, and how to listen to the voice of nature. The children, with their curiosity and joy from Lynn's lessons, gradually understood the importance of protecting the environment. Part 14. Meeting from afar. One day, while Lynn was teaching the children how to navigate the forest, she suddenly felt a familiar presence. It was Shock, the wolf she had parted with long ago. Shock stood at a distance, quietly observing Lynn and the children. However, instead of approaching, Shock just stood there as a reminder that he was always watching her. Lynn smiled at Shock from afar. She understood that Shock had completely returned to the wild, but their friendship remained forever. She did not need words, because sincere feelings did not need to be expressed through language. The fleeting appearance of Shock made Linh feel happy, as a sign that it was living well in its environment. The children in the village followed Linh's gaze, but no one saw Shock. Linh kept Shock's appearance as a secret, a precious thing that only she and nature knew. This made her feel more connected to the world around her, and Linh continued her work with a strong belief in the future. Part 15. Timeless friendship. Many years later, Linh grew up and became a resilient woman, continuing to lead the people in the village and neighboring areas in nature conservation. She is not only an environmentalist, but also a storyteller, sharing with everyone the valuable lessons from her special friendship with Shock. Linh's village, thanks to the efforts of her and the villagers, became a typical model of harmony between humans and nature. The forests around the village became a nature reserve, where wild animals were protected, and people lived in respect for the environment. Linh regularly organized storytelling sessions for children and adults in the village, retelling the story of Shock, so that people would always remember that friendship and kindness can change the world. Part 16. Epilogue. One evening, when Linh was old, she sat by a small fire, surrounded by the children of the village. With a gentle voice, Linh told the story of Shock, her first and most special friend in her life. The children listened with shining eyes. They were drawn into the story of friendship and nature. A little girl in the group asked, Daisy, Linh, do you think Shock is still out there, deep in the forest? Linh smiled, her eyes turned to the distant forest. I believe that Shock is still there, living freely in nature. Even though we cannot meet again, the friendship between me and Shock will always remain, in my heart and in the stories I tell you. The children were silent, thinking about Linh's words. The story of Linh and Shock is not only about a magical friendship between humans and animals, but also about the deep connection between humans and nature. It is a lesson in kindness, understanding, and the power of love to transcend all barriers including time and space. Part 17. The next generations. Many years after Linh's death, the story of her and Shock is still told through each generation. Linh's village has now become a famous place, known as a place where the love of nature is preserved and developed. People from all over come to visit the village, learning how to live in harmony with the environment from the villagers and Linh's descendants. The story of Linh and Shock has become a symbol of the village. Children are taught about friendship, kindness, and the importance of protecting the environment from an early age. Parents tell the story of Linh as an early lesson to their children, teaching them to love and respect all living things around them. Every year, on the anniversary of Linh rescuing Shock, the villagers hold a big festival to remember her. During this festival, people retell the story of Linh and Shock, recreating important moments in their lives through plays and songs. The festival is not only a time to remember Linh, but also an opportunity for people to remind each other of the importance of living in harmony with nature. Part 18. Linh's legacy. Linh has left a legacy not only in the hearts of the villagers but also in the way they live and treat nature. The forest that Linh once cared for has now become a large conservation area, where wild animals are protected and thrive. Local authorities, inspired by Linh's story, have issued many policies to protect the forest, preventing illegal hunting and deforestation. Linh's descendants continue her work, leading education and conservation programs. They extend these efforts beyond the village, working with international environmental organizations to protect wild animals and natural habitats around the world. They always remind that every action begins with small stories like Linh and Shock's, from compassion and understanding between humans and nature. Part 19. The return of Squirrel. Many years later, during a festival to celebrate Linh, something unexpected happened. While the villagers were telling the story of Linh and Squirrel, a group of children playing near the edge of the forest suddenly screamed in surprise. From within the forest, a large wolf, with gray-white fur exactly like Squirrel, appeared. Squirrel stood silently watching the festival from afar, his eyes shining brightly in the dark night. Everyone fell silent, their hearts pounding as they realized that this was Squirrel, Linh's friend, who had returned. Squirrel was still healthy, strong, and seemed to have lived through many years in the deep forest. He looked around, as if searching for Linh among the crowd. The villagers realized that, although Linh was no longer there, the friendship between her and Squirrel was still there, alive and strong. After a few minutes, Squirrel turned and slowly disappeared into the forest. His appearance left a deep impression on everyone's heart. They felt that, although Shock and Lin were far apart, their friendship would last forever, transcending both space and time. Part 20. Conclusion of the story. The story of Lin and Shock is not only a legend, but also a valuable lesson about the power of kindness and friendship. It reminds us that, in life, there are relationships and values that overcome all barriers, creating miracles. The villagers continue to tell this story to their children and grandchildren, not only as a part of history, but also as a way to convey core values of love for nature, compassion, and perseverance. The story of Lin and Shock will forever be a beacon for those who believe that, with kindness and perseverance, we can create great changes, not only in our own lives but also in the world around us. And Sao Sao. The story of Lin and Shock has become a legend that lives on forever, passed down from generation to generation. Whenever people enter the forest, they always feel the presence of sincere friendship and kindness that Lin and Shock share. Lin's village has become a symbol of harmony between humans and nature, where people live with gratitude and respect for the surrounding environment. Generations of descendants continue to follow Lin's example, protecting the forest and upholding the values she left behind. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how new stories are told, the friendship between Lin and Shock will forever be a beautiful story, engraved in everyone's heart. That story reminds us that love, kindness, and understanding are timeless values that can connect us with all living things and with the natural world around us. In the end, the lush green forest where Lin and Shock once lived still stands as a witness to a wonderful friendship and a meaningful life. The wind rustles through the leaves as if whispering that ancient story, so that one day, someone will listen, and the story of Lin and Shock will be told again, inspiring new hearts, so that they too will love, cherish and protect nature, as Lin once did. Thế and Sao Sao. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. When Eternal Friendship comes out, you will be notified of new videos.